another episode.
Hey, everybody.
I know. Listen, this is it. Thank you guys. If you're watching the replay, if you out here sneaking and peeking, come on in and start speaking. All right.
Absolutely.
Go right ahead. Healthy carnivore.
Yeah. Yep. So for today's episode, what we're going to be discussing is overcoming carnivore plateaus and the challenges that you may be facing. We've all faced them, no matter if you're on day one or you're on 4 years, there's always plateaus, always challenges that are going to come up. So I encourage anybody watching this to put in if you've had any wins, if there's things that you're struggling with, any of that stuff. We are here basically to serve and to give information. And, it's always easier when you have more eyes seeing something, more ears hearing something. We all come from different places and we might be able to give you some great ideas. So please put those in the comments and we will see what we can do for you guys. And now we're on to Robin.
Hi, everybody. It's Robin Heron, your carnivorous grandma here. I am so excited to be back with you guys once again for Meaty Mondays with the Fierce FeLions. And as Laura was saying, we are talking about overcoming plateaus and challenges. We know that every journey has challenges, and sometimes you get stalled. Sometimes you might think you're stalled, but you might not actually be stalled. So tonight we're going to be talking about that. So happy to have you guys all here, and we're looking forward to getting into this discussion tonight. How about you, G?
Listen, same thing. I think this show comes up at a great opportune time for me because I know I've plateaued. I have been hanging with these 40s. And I'm trying to get down to the 30s because I feel that way on the inside. Y'all know I'm 33 on the inside, right? Okay. So I'm looking forward to, and I need for people to know, I have no idea what the ladies are going to say, right? I don't know. I'm listening just like you. I have my paper and pen to take down some notes that's going to help me. Who is that? I'm your co-host, G Brown, the Lifestyle Changer from Hanging with the Browns. But let me just tell you guys a couple of things. One, Rebecca's twins. You guys know she has 8 kids and one set of twins, and it's their birthday, so she's not here. We made the announcement last week. I know we made the announcement last week that Rhonda went. Apple came and got her, y'all. They came and took her from us. But she still did the news we can use. So we will be showing her portion today. So you're just kind of stuck with us. What we got? You ladies are the healthiest bunch of women I've seen in a very long time. Oh, Sandra, honey, you are our best friend, girl. You are our best friend for sure. So, identifying some carnivore plateaus. I try to share to, but once again, this is what we're used to not really hold on to that scale. There are other things that you need to be doing. One of the things that I've shared before, prior to becoming carnivore, when I was still in control of my life and I was still in control of, I know how to get this weight off with moderation. I was still in control of, I'm going to try this diet fad. That's the kind of control that I had. And so I decided to go to the gym. And that's the first time that I actually paid for a gym membership for 1 year. And I even had a trainer. You better come on. All right. So what did I get out of that?
Muscle
Measurements, because I lost 10 pounds in 6 months. So that was not a lot for all that work that I was doing, but I was coming home, eating in moderation. There's that word from the devil. I was doing these different things and it did not sustain me. It didn't work. It's messed up where you can turn around and lose all the weight, have your so-called cheat day, and before you know it, the scale is creeping right back up. You thankful you didn't throw those clothes away because you need them back. And that's where I was. Now, I don't look at the scale like I used to. I still go back to the gym for her to measure me so I can see the inches. I can tell in the clothes. One of the ladies that I work with on her first 30 days, she's like, gee, the scale has not changed. But I was wearing a 16, 18, and I just got down into a 12. Please tell me, but
Yes.
I keep
Dang.
hanging around. Right, I keep hanging around 189, 189, 180, 88, 189. But I'm losing all these sizes. And it's like, yes,
Mm-hmm.
so you can't. And for me, I've reached that plateau and I've recognized it. And I'm listening to you ladies so I can figure out what I'm going to do. So, Robin, go ahead and give me some things that I can do.
So, as you were just
Or at
talking
least
about it,
identify. My bad.
well, I'll give you some things that you can do too. So one thing is, I mean, you mentioned it, and that is measuring. Um, measuring your body in different areas to see um, whether you're shrinking. Because I noticed, particularly since I've been on carnivore, I've noticed that I did not lose as much weight. Like when people look at me, they think I've lost a lot of weight. As a matter of fact, somebody was saying, like, my son was saying, how much weight are you planning on losing, mama? But I haven't really lost that much weight off on the scale. But the measurements, like you said, I've gone down from I was about a high end 16, and now I'm down to like a 10. So I've
Nice.
lost a lot of sizes, even though my weight has not come off as, I would have liked to see it come off faster, but that's not really the primary thing that I'm doing this for in the first place. Also recognizing that your body does go into these set points. So when you're at a certain weight for a long period of time, your body wants to naturally go back to that size. That's actually happening to me right now, where I'm about like 152-ish. And when I was fasting, I got down to like 145, 145.8. I was like, 145, wow, I haven't seen that in a long time. But my body immediately rebounded back to 152. So, it would have been nice after 5 days of fasting to see some of that weight stay off. But I think I'm at a set point. And this is kind of the range that I've been in for quite some time from a scale perspective. So I think I'm at a set point. And I definitely would not call it a plateau necessarily, because I am still losing sizes. My body keeps getting smaller. And so that's one thing. The other thing too is that I wanted to just kind of address a couple of other types of plateaus that we have or that we may see. And that is where our energy levels plateau. So, when we first go on carnivore, we get this shot of energy. Like everybody talks about how much energy they have. And I noticed that I didn't really get that. At first I did, but then when I started giving up coffee and giving up sweeteners, I noticed that energy plateaued. I did not continue to have that strong burst of energy where I just felt so energetic. I could get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and work out and do all those things. My energy level plateaued and even went down a little bit when I started getting off of other kind of addictive substances that I was on. And I have not really seen that rebound to the level that it was when I first started carnivore. So that is a plateau that I would like to address. And I'm not exactly sure how to address it. And then another thing that I noticed was that I had a reoccurrence of depression. Um, and that was what I would call a plateau. Was a type of a plateau. And I actually did a video about it. I have not posted the video because I was like, that's so discouraging. But I actually did experience that. And it's something that I will probably post a video about it at some point to say this is what happened. But I really want to kind of rebound from that plateau before I really talk about it. And once I've addressed it and I know that I'm feeling better about it, then I would be happy to post a video about it. But so there's multiple different kinds of plateaus that you can experience throughout your journey. Not all of it has to do necessarily with your weight on the scale. And there are ways that you can measure your own self to see, are you really in a plateau, or is it just gravity? How about you, Laura?
Yeah, and this kind of is where I tell a lot of people that contact me to go back to their why as to why did they start this. Because ultimately, a lot of people do it for weight, some do it for depression, anxiety, arthritis, some of these other like health issues. And so when I tell them to journal, like put down every day, things that they're doing, things they're eating, things that they're missing. I also have them write down, what do you notice you have less of? Do you have less pain today? Do you notice less inflammation? Do you notice depression? Worse, better, any of those things. And I think just like with anything else, you're going to have those times where you have some depression come back or some anxiety, or the weight's going to go come back up like you said when you did your fast. I have seen that happen probably in the last 4 years with me, probably 15 times. I mean, it's happened many times, and it's always because it could be something as simple as I'm trying to fight off of an infection, for not getting like strep when everybody was getting strep, and the nasty C19, not getting that but around it a lot. And I would plateau and even go back up a few pounds, and I thought, when the body is in a healing state, it tends to do that because it's going to hold on to fluid. So I always tell people, definitely with the measurements, write down how you're feeling every day to see if that's something, um, and see if your symptoms are improving on some of these other items. And then I know a lot of people, this is mostly a protein and fat diet with some salt and stuff thrown in. I promise that I have seen the best benefits with depression and anxiety when I increase the fat. And I really do a 50-50. I don't weigh anything, but I promise you, when I bumped up that fat, that made a world of difference. Um, because, the brain is made up of so much fat, up to 70 some percent of fat. And so I really think we need to be kind of focusing on doing that. And I do intermittent days. So like one day I may do a little bit higher protein than I would the fat. The next day I may fast. Next day I may do, 75% fat with just a 25% of protein, and just try to change it up metabolically and keep my body kind of confused all the time. I think that seems to be something that helps. So let's
Can
see.
you read
Hello, my fierce.
that one? I'm
Yeah.
giving that one to you, Laura.
Yeah, you don't have to read it to me anymore. I'm a big kid now.
Yay!
All right, day 15 for me in the World Carnivore Month, and I am 45-year-old
Congratulations.
premenopausal. Thanks. On day 14 of my cycle, and actively day 14. Day 14 of menstruation.
Wow.
Ay, ay, ay.
That's the reason why we got that one there over there for you.
Yep. So that makes me wonder if this person has ever been diagnosed with like fibroids, or endometriosis. And I would say I had a hysterectomy when I was young prior to going carnivore, so I didn't have to worry about that so much. Yay, me.
Yeah.
And But that just, when you see that, a lot of times that's endometriosis or fibroids is what would be my first thing. More than even your hormones being off, because you have to have a trifecta of stuff for that to work. So I would continue, stay the course. You're not going to have to worry about your iron, because if you're doing carnivore, your iron is going to tend to be on the higher side. So you're going to be okay that way. So you shouldn't become anemic. But if you do get to those points where you feel like you're getting anemic, you definitely want to have some blood work done just to kind of know where you're at. And just eat more meat and fat is what I would recommend. And then just let me know if you do know if you have either one of those two conditions. So that's what I would say. All right, let's see. So for our next section here, I'm just going to discuss some things that I have used to overcome plateaus. So, like I said earlier, some of that has been, I'm very OCD, so I like doing like the OMAD same time every day. And I did that for a long time. And I thought my body's getting used to that. And I want to have it be confused. Um, so that's when I integrated 24-hour fast sometimes. Sometimes it's a 2-day fast. It may be a 3-day. I may do a 5-day. It just depends. And then I think just paying attention to that. And then the other thing that I did, and I noticed it really helped with my sleep, and this was about a year ago. I used to not eat until after I got home from work, and I get off at like 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I'm home by like 5:15, and I wasn't sleeping very well anymore. And I was like, I used to sleep great. Like I can fall asleep outside, sun shining, I'm laying on a rock, cars driving by. I don't care. I can sleep. But all of a sudden I was like, I can't sleep. What the heck's going on? And so I thought, I'm going to change my eating window. So what I do now, if I'm going to do 2 meals, I may do a little bit of one in the morning around 7:30, and then I eat my bulk one around 1 o'clock. And then that's it. I don't eat up until bedtime and go to bed. And I have found that that did really kind of help with that sleeping. And I don't know why that is. Now, I will tell you another thing. If you are having some trouble sleeping, not eating big, heavy protein before bed's okay. But I made some of those ribeye fat bites one time, and I felt like that also helped. I just had a couple of those with some of the salt and did that before bed, and I slept fine. So I've been scooping all 14 inches of snow, 3 times a day for the last 3 days.
Wow.
I have no trouble sleeping. So that's what I would do for that one. So what about you, G?
Okay, so I need for you guys to get ready, the audience as well. If you're watching it on the replay, get ready. Have your paper and pencil because I was looking at one of the things that Pursuit of Bliss said, how she'll do something to kind of confuse or shock her body, because your body, like Robin said, it'll kind of go back to, you did something, but then it's going back to its comfortable state. So how can I make this uncomfortable? So I was writing. So since my husband hanging with Mr. The Browns, the husband wanted to chime in. This is what we're going to do starting tomorrow. I am challenging you ladies, along with the husband and anyone else that wants to, but you got to take notes. We're going to measure ourselves. Measure yourself first thing in the morning. All right. Get your spouse, get the grand or anything. Now, for me, when I go to the gym, she measures everything on the right versus left, right, left, right. We just, kind of get the measurements. You do with it as you choose to. You're going to stand on the scale and get your weight naked first thing in the morning. All right. We're doing this first thing in the morning. And then for 1 week, we're going to work out. So Mr. Brown and you know what? A lot of times they give away 1 week of gym membership if that's what you want to do. But we're going to work out and you're going to come back and you're going to say my starting weight, my measurements, and then you're going to tell us in 7 days where it is. What did you do? How did your body feel? And like you said, did I feel any swelling? How was my sleep? Because see, that's the messed up part for me, is like the sleep aspect. And then when I get a good night's sleep, I didn't pay attention to, hey, what did I do yesterday? Because this was a good night's sleep. I don't, I'm not doing that. So, and you know how you're feeling. So you're going to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday you have time, and then bam. Look at this. See this foolishness
I
right here?
saw that.
Just see this foolishness right here. Now I'm asking him uh to do this with me, and this is what I'm getting. So we're all going to do that. We're going to meet back here because we're talking about plateaus, and let's just see. Write down what it is that you ate, whether it was one a day, two a day. If you snack, just journal for these next 7 days. Let's all do it. And then you guys type yours in. We're going to have ours, and we're going to see, because I know one of the things that Laura said is that out of nowhere, but you know, she's been out hunting deers and stuff like that. You know, you said you had, your pants was kind of baggy or something, and you looked around, and when I saw your video, um, uh, that you did, what was it that you was making? You had the jojoba oil, the
I
it's
made
only three
face
things.
and body serum.
There you go. That was it, because you were putting it in the dropper. And I said, "Oh, look at that hip right there." Yeah, I said, "Oh, I can see it." I was hoping that you had walked. I said, "Oh, I see it." Yes,
Oh yeah.
I can see it in you. Let me see. Wait, what's this? Thank you, Pursuit. I done volunteered him, and then I'm gonna really be. You know what? I'm doing
He's
this
gonna love it.
with you. Yeah, he is. He be all right. We're just gonna
Well,
do this for the days. I'm gonna measure him.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So wait a minute. So those are the things that I want to do. And if you guys have some questions or comments, uh, go ahead and put in. Don't put in what Frederick put in. I didn't agree to that. Don't do that. We're gonna do this as a group. It's the beginning of the year. Still, we're still in the first month. Heck, we're in like week what, 2.5 or something like that. At week 3, we can do this. Let's do this together. Who's next? Who's next? What do you think?
Me.
Yes, me. Go ahead.
So, I was sitting here thinking as you ladies were talking about, we're talking about the mental and physical aspects of pushing through difficult phases. And one of the things that I thought about was doing challenges, how challenges help me. And so this month, I'm not really doing a challenge. And I find that I have a little bit of a lack of motivation because I'm not doing a challenge. So those challenges really do help me. Um, you know, all the things that you guys already said. You talked about fasting. Fasting is a great way to try to break through a plateau and shifting things around. I usually eat 2 meals a day, um, all the time. So sometimes I need to just like maybe do an OMAD or do a 24-hour fast or something like that to kind of shift things around, change things up. And then the other thing that you mentioned was exercise. So these are all the things that you guys have already mentioned. But just pushing through the challenge, the plateau is, just realizing, I guess, that plateau is natural. Your body does
Yes.
not want
Yep.
to let go of weight. Um, your body wants to hang out on to everything. That's why our bodies store fat the way they do, right? Is because the body wants to be, it doesn't want to release
Survive.
the weight. So yeah, it wants to survive,
Yep.
just realizing that having a plateau is a natural thing that happens. It happens to everybody. And your body will fight against you for losing weight. So
Can I like
Um,
before you go, Robin? We as well, let me just speak for me. I have a goal in mind, and a lot of times that's what we as women we will do. And I want to hit this goal. And I know, for I said, because just the start of last year, I was almost back at 200 pounds, and I said by December I wanted to be at 150. Well, I did that. I was at 145. And then I said by my birthday of turning 60 in July, I wanted to be down to 125. And because I'm still heavy in the hips, still have some loose skin, I wanted to tone it up. I wanted to do, and I feel, you know, how you said that you went on the fast, you got down to 145, but then when you started eating, um, you kind of bounce back to where you were. So I feel that if I can get to my 125, that's where I'm going to allow my body to settle. So in my head, I want to do that as a number goal for me. But then once I hit that, I just want to live the rest of my life. I don't want to worry about a scale. I don't want
Right.
to be consumed over anything like that. But I've put my mind right now into this, and a lot of times when people once they find out about this diet, oh, you get to lose some weight, and that ends up being at the forefront of what we think, how we feel. But I know without a shadow of a doubt that if I was already 60 and I've had my birthday, I would just, I know I'll never be big again. I know that won't happen. And so I want to now fine tune me, meaning um, if there's a cramp or there's, oh, my hands, oh my good, one of the, I want to have myself in a position where I can figure these things out. And being on this diet, you can. And so I got that challenge out there. So we're going to
yeah,
do
that's a
this
really good
thing.
challenge. I'm glad that you did
I
that
don't own a
because
scale.
you don't?
But you work at a hospital.
I have one where I work, so yes, I could, but I can't do it naked.
Not naked. Don't do it naked.
The girls would all run. They'd be like, "What
Oh
is
my
she
god.
doing? She's lost her mind."
Right.
But I no, I
Roll
got rid
that
of
scale
that
into
a
the
long
bathroom. Go ahead.
yeah, that's true. I got rid of that quite a while ago because I did get to like where I really didn't have a number on the scale that I wanted to reach. I just oh, well, thanks. um I just wanted to get to where I fit into my clothes that I had that I liked, that like the dress I had a dress which I don't hardly ever wear a dress, but I had one. I was like, I want to be able to fit into that and it looks right on me and looks cute. And once I did that, I was like, okay. I just didn't want to be because I'm one of those people that like I said, my OCD, if I saw 2 pounds go up three, I would be like, what the hell did I do? And then I was like, what did, so it just was caused conflict in my brain. So, which I don't mind. I think going and doing that's okay. But I do say like after you've been on this for quite a while, I think weighing once a month and measuring weekly is probably okay. I think for a 7-day challenge, it's okay to do that, what you're talking about. But I think at a certain point, and some people's personalities is probably fine. They can weigh every day and it doesn't do anything to them. But as women, even if you're not having menstruating anymore, you're still dealing with water retentions, hormonal changes. And that could be 3 to 5 pounds sometimes. And, some people, I have a lady that's very fragile right now. And I said, you know what? Let's just do the beginning weight and let's not even look at that. Let's just do measurements. Let's write down how we feel and what we're worried about, just because I think she's at that broken place right now. So, and a lot of people aren't there, but I mean, she's at that spot. And I just was like, screw that scale. She doesn't tell you what your value is, but yeah, I think for a 7-day challenge that'd be fine. But yes, I'll have to drag it into the bathroom at work.
There you go. We're
So
doing
I do
it.
want to address this question though that came up, why the number goal is so much more important. I know you just popped that up a second ago. And this actually is a very good question because honestly, with carnivore, for me, the number goal is not the most important thing. As a matter of fact, I didn't even weigh myself when I went on carnivore, so I don't know how much I weighed. I know what size clothes I wore, and kind of how my weight was trending because I was eating everything. But for me, it's more about the health benefits. Some of the things that I want to address, you know what I mean? I want to get rid of this eczema. The eczema is a nightmare, you guys. It's like it's on my hands. And so it's a constant battle. And then of course the anxiety. So for me, the most important things are not the weight, even though I do weigh myself. And so I know how much I weigh, but I don't, it's not the primary thing for me. But I think culturally, this thing of the scale, it's just been a big deal. How much do you weigh all the time? You know, if you look at any of the apps that track, you know, that's one of the main things that are tracked. But tracking that body composition, tracking those measurements, tracking how you feel in your clothes, how do you feel overall, is much more important than how much the scale says. Because, like I said, I haven't lost as much weight as probably it looks like I've lost. Basically, I'm hearing people say like, "Oh, you're so small." I don't feel so small. I think I have a little bit of body dysmorphia. Like, I don't feel small, and when I look at myself, I don't look small to myself. But people are saying, "Oh, you're so small," and I'm like, you know, I don't really see it as well. I mean, I can tell because I wear a size 10. So that's really good, you know. So, but that I've come way down from where I was when I started, but I'm definitely not, you know, I don't think we should focus on the weight on the scale necessarily. Now, G, she said she has a goal of the
Yep.
size that she want, the weight that she wants to be. Not everybody has a weight goal. You know, some of us just have some health benefit goal or some other kind of goal that we're trying to achieve, that doesn't have anything to do with the scale. So it's up to
Yeah.
you
Well,
what you.
the other thing too, Robin, and this was hard for me because I absolutely had body dysmorphia because when I lost 140 pounds in 1991, I still saw, the 300-pound person. And it took me watching a video of my daughter's birthday party where I had on those bodysuits that snapped in the crotch back in
What?
91, 92. You remember those? Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm leaning over the stove lighting her candles, and my brother-in-law, who was fascinated with everybody's backside, was taking a video of that, and I saw that later, and you could see my backbones. You could see my spine where my ribs connected, and I thought, "Oh, shit," because 'cause I'd had people say, "Oh, you've gotten too small, you look sickly," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because I didn't see that. And so that I had to get healthy again, which that did mean putting, I think I put 7 or 8 pounds back on. But then after that, just like what may be happening with you because you are exercising more, is the fat is going. Otherwise, you wouldn't be getting into smaller sizes, but
Right.
your bone density is increasing with carnivore, for one, and you're building muscle much easier than you ever did. Look at some of these people, like look at Fred. He sits there and does this with a bicep, and he don't even lift weights. So you're putting muscle on.
Right.
I'm kind of
Well,
jealous.
you
His
know
biceps are
him. He
bigger than
say his
mine.
muscle grows as he walked to the bathroom.
That's disgusting.
Right.
He can listen. He in the kitchen right now, so he can't hear the show. He said, "Well, wait a minute. It sounds like y'all talking about me."
We are.
Nope.
So, we want to just ask you to submit your questions. If you have any questions for us about this topic, overcoming carnivore plateaus and challenges, or if you have a challenge that you want to put out here, that we can talk about and discuss and kind of help you try to clarify about. We want to make sure that you share your insights of what have you done to overcome your plateaus or your challenges that you faced in your carnivore way of eating. And then we want to share with you Rhonda's news you can
I know.
use. Yay!
Okay, guys, so hold on. Let me switch this. Share the screen. And we're going to share here. And you ready?
Hi, everyone. I'm Rhonda at Carnivore Leo, bringing you carnivore news that we can use. Our topic today is about intuitive eating, which has become popular over the past few years. Dr. Ken Berry has a video on his channel entitled Intuitive Eating Exposed, where he covers many important concepts within the 10 principles of intuitive eating. He shared that the 10 principles of intuitive eating were first put on paper in 1995 by two registered dietitians, Evelyn Triboli and Elise Reach. Dr. Berry stated that there are some very important concepts and many true statements within those 10 principles, but he thinks there needs to be some words that those dietitians used defined to help us understand and benefit from the 10 principles of intuitive eating. Dr. Berry's video was packed with a lot of information, so I'm going to summarize the key points from the principles and definitions that I gleaned from his video. Principle number 1, reject the diet mentality, such as fad diets. Fad diets never work. Dr. Berry says that we need to become angry when we see a new fad diet. We need to understand that there is a way of eating that will help us achieve the best health. There is a proper human diet, as in a lifelong way of eating. Principle number 2, honor your hunger. Dr. Berry agrees with this statement with the following stipulations. He said we need to separate hunger from cravings and also separate hunger from addiction. Sugar and carbohydrate addictions are very real for some people. This is a real physiological condition that numerous amounts of research have shown that the pleasure centers in the brain light up when these people even think about sugar or a highly processed carbohydrate food. Dr. Berry stated that hunger in and of itself is not a bad thing. Hunger is a good and normal thing that every mammal on the planet experiences when it needs not comfort, but when it needs nutrition. When our bodies need amino acids, fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals, we will experience that as hunger. And that's a good thing. So we should not feel guilty about that. Trying to fight hunger is not good, but we absolutely have to fight and break the cravings for highly processed foods, sugar, and carbohydrate addictions. Then and only then can we honor our hunger and trust that signal. Principle number 3, make peace with food. Dr. Berry agrees with this statement only if we define the word food properly. Food is not donuts, Oreos, Doritos, or sugary soft drinks. Those are pseudo-frankenfoods that huge corporations have produced in a factory that artificially hit our bliss point that make us overeat. Dr. Berry stated that this is deliberate and that food chemists are paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to hack into our hunger and confuse it. Dr. Berry defines food as real, whole, one-ingredient food that either comes from the dirt or it has come from things that have eaten what comes from the dirt. When we honor the definition of real food, then it becomes much easier to say no to cravings. It's impossible to make peace with food if we don't use the proper definition of what food actually is. Principle number 4, challenge the food police. Dr. Berry wants us to 100% reject the calorie police. If someone says to calorie restrict or only eat so many calories a day, that is inappropriate. Our bodies don't know what a calorie is, and our bodies don't count calories. Dr. Berry says we should honor our hunger by eating real food until we are comfortably stuffed, and that we should also reject and challenge the portion control police, because no other mammal on the planet eats a certain size portion of any real food. All mammals on the planet should eat real food until they are comfortably stuffed, regardless of what the portion size is. Principle number 5, discover the satisfaction factor. We have a set of hormones in our bodies that tells us when we're full if we're eating real human food. If we are eating highly processed carbohydrate foods, those foods have been engineered by chemists and use the bliss point to override our satiety, which causes us to keep eating carbohydrates after we've reached satiety. That's because our hormone system has been hacked. These hormones, when we are eating whole human foods, will tell us when we are done, and it will literally turn off our hunger when these hormones reach a certain level. That's how we discover the satisfaction factor. Principle number 6, feel your fullness or satiety. Satiety is a word that doctors and scientists use to say that our fullness or satiety hormones have reached their peak and we should stop eating at that point. When we're eating inappropriate foods or pseudo foods, it's really hard to hear these signals because our system has been hacked by the chemical engineers. But when we remove all of the fake foods, we can again feel our fullness and satiety. It's almost like a switch goes off and you know intuitively when it's time to stop eating. Principle number 7, cope with your emotions with kindness. So many of us either currently or used to eat because we were feeling lonely, sad, anxious, bored, or angry, not because we felt true hunger. Emotional eating is never the appropriate answer. We have to cope with our emotions. So it's very important if in the past we were coping with our emotions by eating or drinking in some form, that was inappropriate and it's just as bad and unhealthy as using alcohol or drugs to deal with our emotions. We need to find new strategies to deal with our emotions. We all have emotions, but we cannot use food to soothe them. Because if we try to do that, we're going to end up eating inappropriate fake foods. Eating inappropriate foods can give us a feeling of short-term benefit, and they can numb us to the pain or to the negative things in our lives. But eating inappropriate foods never fixes those things. Principle number 8, respect your body and your mind. Our bodies are magnificent. It's almost magical the things our bodies can do if we honor and respect them. Dr. Berry says we need to accept our genetic blueprint. Some of us are just big boned. Some of us are thin as a rail, no matter what we do. There is a range of normal sizes for human bodies. We don't all look like the models in the magazines or the Instagram accounts. And some of us will never look that way, no matter what type of diet or exercise we perform. We have to respect our bodies and understand that our genetics play a part in how our bodies are shaped. It's okay to be the shape we are. Some people are pear-shaped, some people are apple-shaped, and so on. But we can still, even with our genetically predetermined body shape, improve it, and we can achieve optimal body health. But we have to respect our bodies. Principle number 9, movement. This is about exercise. Exercise is very good for us. But contrary to what all of the diet gurus on YouTube and Instagram tell us, exercise is a terrible method for weight loss. There is a lot of research studies that shows that exercise is a terrible way to lose weight. Exercise will help us become healthier, but exercise should be fun. Dr. Berry doesn't want us to think of exercise as a chore, but he wants us to think of exercise as going outside to play. He doesn't want us to look at exercise as punishment. If we messed up and ate some Frankenfood and now we feel kind of guilty or bad about it, exercise is not the solution for that. We don't have to pay for what we ate with exercise. Exercise is something we should naturally do and naturally want to do. And as we improve our way of eating and get rid of the false foods, we are going to feel like exercising. When we hear the word exercise, Dr. Berry wants us to hear the word play, because that's how we should think about it. Last but not least, principle number 10, honor your health. We should eat a diet that makes our food choices honor our health. We should eat food that leaves us feeling good long term instead of eating false food that gives short term false pleasure. Dr. Berry says that we don't have to eat perfectly every day. From time to time, there is an anniversary or a birthday where we might eat some high carbohydrate, high sugar foods. He says that's okay. And if that happens, he doesn't want us to feel guilty or bad. He wants us to forgive ourselves. And the very next meal, when we feel hungry again, because we are going to listen to our bodies and respect it, then we are going to eat real human food and we are going to act like that temporary indiscretion never happened. Dr. Berry wants us to always remember that perfection is never the goal. Progress, that's the goal. This concludes Carnivore News that we can use.
That was awesome.
It was very good.
Yes. So,
Oh my
guys,
gosh.
wait, did
Awesome.
y'all see? Look at my husband. He came around here to tell me, wait a minute, why is she looking like Janet Jackson?
She does.
She did.
She does.
She did.
Yes, she
She
did.
was looking cute.
Yes. So, for those that don't know, Apple came and stole her from us, but I really just believe God placed us together. So that's how Rhonda she will still come with the news that we can use. I heard someone kind of on one of the ones that she said, but right now, Robin, it is your turn. Give it to me when you finish.
Absolutely.
Go right ahead.
Perfect. So we've been talking about the scale, and the scale is a little bit of a devil. As Laura said, she threw her scale out.
Yep.
I
It went
was so
bye-bye.
tempted to do it. There was like a throw your scale away challenge a couple of years ago, and I just couldn't do it. So, but we want to talk about non-scale victories because there's a lot of things that have happened that have been totally unrelated to the scale. So, for me, I guess the main thing is that carnivore zen. That is like, if you can get to the state of the carnivore zen, and I really feel like, I've done a lot of different diets in my life. I've never felt that way on any other diet. I feel like you need to be on carnivore to actually experience that feeling of that total whole body, whole mind, zen feeling. That is an amazing non-scale victory. Like if you can get to that point, and I think it probably took me about 90 days before I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So that was an awesome one. Definitely losing all those sizes. I ended up pulling a bunch of clothes out of my closet and I'm going to give them all away because I'm going to be with G and I'm going to do hashtag never be big again because I'm not planning on going back. And I think that's one of the main things that keeps me focused on doing this carnivore lifestyle is that I don't want to I'm tired of yo-yo dieting. I don't want to keep going back and forth. And another non-scale victory is that I don't have to. So I'm really excited about that. There's so many, I could probably just keep talking and talking about my non-scale victories because there's been so many of them. And just being able to do this long term, I really feel like that's a huge victory for me. I know that there's many of us who have been on many diets and being consistently on something, even in the midst of like severe temptation. People are constantly talking to you about, you should have a little of this or you should have a little of that. Why can't you have this? Why can't you have that? And just being able to not cheat it's so empowering. That's a huge non-scale victory for me. So, G, how about yours?
Yeah. I think the thing that for me that stands out the most because I see it when I'm riding in the car. I see it when I'm sitting on the toilet, and I see it when I'm sitting in the shower. Okay. I said all that to say because I'm able to look down, and I remember when these thighs was like bam, bam, and good, yeah. But to look now, like when I sit on the toilet, see, y'all probably thought I was going to talk about sex, but not this time. When I sit on the toilet,
I was wondering.
I know.
Yeah,
When
me
I
too.
sit down and it's like, and I can just look and see the kneecaps. My legs at the bottom were so big, my calf started coming around to the front, right? Look, he and her laughing because that's what we had talked about. I said, look, my front calf gone. Is and it's like it's those little bitty things. So if I'm sitting in my closet and I'm on that little stool and I look down and it's like, whoa, I haven't seen my thighs like that. Now, if I look further down, I have some excess, but overall, and then that's my elbow, y'all. You can see it through that. That is bone, baby. So you start feeling things. And my daughter, we were saying, she said, "Mom, I'm getting too small." Not me, her. She's like, "You can see these bones in my neck." And then, I was like, "What you talking about, these?" And she's like, "Okay, you ain't been seeing your bones, so you don't mind seeing them. But when you skinny, you get tired of seeing the bones." But I have to add this: never, ever, ever has a skinny person told me that I've lost enough weight.
Mm.
Oh yeah, let that marinate. Normally and so then I start to say, and I know that I think some of you ladies have said this, you didn't tell me when I was too big. You didn't tell me when I was walking and them thigh, you could hear
Oh,
Corduroy. Remember the corduroy
yes.
oh
pants?
my God. Wait, those
Oh,
or the vinyl warm-up pants or whatever that material is.
oh,
Or
that
when
is
you
in
turn
my
around,
Or
brain.
stockings.
Oh,
yes, and wait, and
yes.
all them little beady balls between your legs, and then
Yep.
heaven forbid, because
Lord have mercy.
then they done came out with these stretch pants, and so you and you get it up, and then one day I look and had bust a hole in the thigh part
Yep.
because of my
Yep.
inner thigh. Yeah. So
Yep.
and it kind of gets me sometimes where it's like, well, not only did you tell me all the times that I was unhealthy, um, but now you're saying, okay, that's enough. You starting to look what? I wasn't this size my life. I'm starting to look my high school weight and my early 20s weight. And so it's for me, it's those where you feeling bones. Now the downside is at nighttime, and I've shared this before, when you laying on your side and them knees start knocking together.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, I don't like that. And then I'm laying there and it's like, where's that leg pillow? Because I have one to put in between. I don't even feel like getting out to get it, but it's on the bed tonight because the last 2 nights my kneecaps have really been knocking. And then you find yourself trying to rest that leg this way or behind. Yeah, yeah. So that, look, that's a small scale win or lose. However, they knocking. What about you, Laura?
So for myself, of course, I did lose 5 pounds that I wasn't even really trying and went down a pant size. But really, that wasn't what I started this for. It was for health reasons. And so a non-scale victory for me is when I went through menopause, because I had a partial hysterectomy. So I did still have ovaries. So um, in my family, they have horrible night sweats, all the things that go with that. And I had zero one night that I was like, crap, I got COVID or something. Cause, I was like sweating. And the
You're
next
so
day I
blessed.
got up and I was like, yeah, I know. My mom's like, I hate you. And I was like, that's horrible. But it really did help with that. But I had done that. I had been on it for about a year. when I went through that. So I think my hormones had kind of stable pretty good at that. So I always say that that's definitely a non-scale victory. The other thing is, and just little stuff like my hair grows so much better. You know, it's of course it is colored right now, but it's just shiny. You know, it's good. My skin has improved. I have no acne. I mean none, and I had bad cystic acne even on keto. I mean, I had it bad, and, that's something of the past. I don't have that. Don't have to wear the glasses anymore. I contribute half of that to carnivore and half of that to castor oil. Um, and then the other thing is a non-scale victory for me is that by what I have been through over these years, I can then give that to my patients and help them find a better health for them. And so that's another non-skill victory that I think I have.
That's awesome.
Well, go ahead and wrap us up.
All right. So I just want to let you know that next Monday, we're going to be going over carnivore self-care and holistic wellness, which I really, really, really,
Yes.
really love. I think
Yeah, we
I
all
think it's a
excited about that
natural
show.
I think it's a natural progression that when you get on a proper human diet and you do that for long enough, that you start being a little more mindful of what's in my shampoo, what's in this, what's in that. Just recently, I was watching Barbara O'Neill on Reels, and she's a holistic doctor. I think she came from Australia originally. Very smart lady. And she was talking about a product that's in a lot of the shampoos that is very bad on your hair and your scalp, and I get my stuff from Melaleuca, which is a natural company. And I was like, I don't have to worry about it. Well, then I started getting dandruff, and I thought, as much oil as I take in, I should not. And so I went and grabbed my bottle, and sure enough, it had, I think it was lauryl sulfate or sulfate laurel, whatever it was. That was the number two ingredient. And I'm not happy. And I have reached out to the company because herbal essence has the same thing. Like if I'm going to, I might as well smell a little better, you know. So
Right.
that's kind of what led me to make my own soap bars, which will be ready on January 28th. I will be able to pop them puppies out, and I'll let you guys know how they go. So I would say for me for this show, it's it's been going over, we all have challenges. We all are going to hit plateaus. I think one of the best things you can do is seek other people that are doing this lifestyle. You know, there's a lot of people that have been doing it, like Kelly Hogan's been doing it forever. I think Lisa Wiederman, I think she's been a long time. Laura Spath, another one. So find a tribe, you know, find somebody out there or a few somebodies. And I think that will help guide you. And we're all different, but we all have been through different types of plateaus. So we have multiple things to try. And that's the thing. You get to learn to listen to your body, try something for, you know, a week. If that ain't right, no big deal, move on, you know. So that's kind of where I feel like this was a good show for going over those things. And as we always say, definitely leave questions in there. You know, we can see those later. If you're watching this on the replay, please like us, share, subscribe. Mine is Healthy Carnivore, Carnivorous Grandma, Hanging with the Browns. Then we have Carnivore Leo. She'll be a little busy, but still go look. And then
Mhm.
Carnivore Family, which is Rebecca and her husband. So I think we all have something great to give to you guys, and you can always reach out to us.
Well, let me ask you before you move on, Laura, what do you have going for this week on your channel?
Let's see. I have Sunday, I am doing, it's going to be pretty big. It's going to be with the carnivore hunters, and it is going over cholesterol, and it's going to be big. We
Ooh.
have several links that we have, and he's going to have in the video, you know, study links, things like that. And I think it's going to be eye opening for some people. And it may make a few people mad that think that it's, you know, perfectly safe to be taking those medications. So but we go into statins and a lot of other things. So I think it'll be pretty good. And it is going to be live, so people can ask questions live.
Good,
That's
good. What about you,
awesome.
Robin?
So I am going to be interviewing the Dave Mack, the interviewer of everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to be able to interview him on Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, and get a chance to just talk to him and ask him a lot of questions like he does us. So that should be good. I'm working on a couple of things. It's taking some time. The video. I love lives, you guys. I love lives, but yeah, working through those videos, trying to make sure that we put out some great content for you guys. But yes, that the one thing that I have coming up this Saturday is the interview with Dave Mack.
Very good. You've hosted quite a few. This week I am getting locking in some dates and times. Frederick and I normally have our late lunch talk, and I'm not gonna lie. Last week I enjoyed that show because
It's so good.
we reminisced. Like when we were growing up. I mean, from VCR players to you guys.
Fried
I grew
bologna.
up. Yes, I grew up in like the best time ever. Even though I'm classified as a baby boomer, but I'm not.
Mm-mm.
No, because I was the latchkey kid, all of that. And I just look at my life growing up and it's, I love it. I love it compared to these softies that we raising now. But don't get me started on that. These so weak. Yeah.
Thank God they didn't have phones back in the day. They didn't have cell phones back in the
Oh,
80s.
wait a
Right.
minute, because we really had to rely on somebody's memory for the conversation because nobody was, there was nothing to record. All the, yeah, don't get me started. So, I really did enjoy that show. I love the fact that we are hanging with the Browns. So you guys get to hang with us. We are an open book. I really, excuse me, try to tie in, of course, our carnivore lifestyle, but at the same time, we want you to see that we just live regular lives. We just spend less time in the kitchen. We just spend less time. I have no desire to eat out because I'm
Yeah.
just not for sure in regards to your how you prepared it. Instead of spending $40, we can go to the store and get $40 in meat, light a couple of candles. We can put some music on, and then ta-da, just take it on from there. And so, uh, for us this week, you'll see us Wednesday. But you know what? Before we go,
There's a
there
question.
is a couple of, I
Yes.
know.
I
So
see it.
Miss Lucy wants to know, how do you know if you're eating enough protein and fat if you only eat once or twice a day? Uh, that's really you, Laura, because that's you 50-50. So,
Yeah. So basically, and like I said, every day isn't the same. It's not 50-50 every day. Some days it's 75% fat, 25% meat. I would say you'll know that you're eating the right amount of fat if a couple things. You're sleeping pretty well, if the depression, anxiety is going away because you're healing those areas, and if you are not constipated. If you are having any little bit of constipation, you absolutely need to up the fat. And if you're somebody that can't handle, like say you cook hamburger and you have that fat, that rendered fat that's still liquid, then try to do cold butter or even cook up ribeye fat bites, put them in the fridge and eat those somewhat cold with some salt on it. Um, but you'll know by that. Protein, you're going to know because you're going to get hungry faster. Protein is slower and harder to break down, um, but it's so healthy for the stomach. These people who have leaky gut syndrome. I mean, that is one of the best things they can do is the protein. It's just amazing. So I would just pay attention to how you feel, how you're sleeping, and how your stools are. I mean, we're no different than the animals we take to the vet. And what do they always ask? What do you feed them and how are their stools? I mean, it really is that simple. It's what goes in must come out. So it's just how.
Yeah, I really, really agree with that. And I had to share. I'll stop because Joanne was just saying, she has alopecia, frustrating 6 or 7 years, unhealthiness, and the stress, of course. And she hopes that the carnivore diet will help with that. So,
Castor oil.
any anyone that is looking to get, of course, relief from um, changing your eating, just note you have some things locked up in them fat cells. It's going to take time. It took you all those years of eating however you were eating, and so you get some results in your first 30 days. And a lot of times people make it to 30 days and say, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and do 90 days, and then you get even
Yep.
better results with 90 days, and then they turn
Yes.
around and say, you know what, let's do 6 months. If I can hang with this for 6 months, now it's almost becoming a lifestyle. You are doing more research. You're seeing this, these different things. Because I could tell you that my hair didn't grow for a while. I was getting less haircuts, and my nails were chipping at some point. They didn't chip before, but then all of a sudden, I was getting, because my body is changing. My insides. Didn't know if I was eating enough. And so I figured that my brain wasn't sending a lot of nutrients to my nails, because it's like, hold up, what is she doing? So I just encourage you, you make it to 6 months, you say, I can't wait for my 1 year anniversary. And your life, your health gets better and better and better. But
I
if
want to
you do this,
I
okay.
just want to comment on something that you just said about um, toxins being locked up in your fat cells. So I recently, at the beginning of the year, did a 5-day fast, and I noticed after about 4 days, I had an eczema flare up on my face. Now, I hadn't been eating anything, but I'm assuming that it's because I was totally burning fat by that time, and something that
Absolutely.
was inside those fat cells was coming out, being expelled, and that caused me to have this eczema flare up. So that is definitely
Well,
a
and
factor.
that is, how some people talk about oxalate dumping and they're like, well, I've been doing this for 6 months. I
Mhm.
mean, I know people that have been doing it, and even at a year, they may do a fast, may start changing their exercise routine, hitting into those fat stores, and they'll get another oxalate dumping type syndrome. On that
Yep.
lady that was talking about the alopecia, I just want to throw out one more thing that I do think anything this diet helps with the autoimmune disorders, but I would recommend that she look up the benefits of castor oil mixed with olive oil,
But
jojoba,
look, we're going to
avocado
talk
oil.
about that next week.
I know, and rosemary.
Yes.
I will,
Rosemary,
but
okay,
Yes.
yes, yeah, because I do think
definitely.
that's something that any of the autoimmune disorders, I believe, can be fixed. So,
I definitely
Almost
think I
definitely.
experienced some oxalate dumping during my fast, for sure.
yes, yep.
Some symptoms that I won't even describe, but yes, I had
Yeah.
definitely
Well,
some
you guys
oxalate
know
dumping.
oh, it's still there, but it's not as big. I had that knot under my arm, and it's like, so I went and had an ultrasound. But I cannot expect that I ate whatever it is I wanted to eat. And now knowing the sugar levels and all of this stuff going on, and the great benefit that I'm having, but I'm not there yet. I know there's some things locked away in these remaining fat cells. And so
Yeah.
when my body releases it, it's going to be a big release. And who knows, you might have an adverse effect. Who
Yep.
knows? But next week, guys. So
It's
next
gonna be
week is
so
show and tell. We so before the show, we were talking so much about next week's show. We were talking so much about next week's show because we have some things that we've implemented on top of the carnivore diet. So we're super excited. Laura has hooked us up with a lot of things because she does a lot of her own everything. We won't even get over it to all of it because we're going to save it for next week. But what was the name of next week's show, Laura?
It is carnivore self-care and holistic wellness.
Yes. So you have some questions. We're going to I might even do a demonstration.
She gonna freeze up. She gonna freeze up, y'all.
Frederick. Yeah, and Frederick's going to be like, oh, she already did the oil.
Yes, so you guys will really know what we're talking about. But in the meantime and in between time,
Yes.
we will see you guys next week. Go ahead and visit our channels. They're there. We love and appreciate you guys, and we will see